We did it. We did it. I was worried. Here we are crossing Lake Champlain. I think it was in 2016. I came here and I caught my first smallmouth bass, and I made a top 10 in my very first FLW event back in the day over here, and was in contention to win the actual event. First time catching a smallmouth bass, so it's always been a special place to me because of that. It's one of those places I have a lot of time idling, marking big rock, and know where all the grass beds are, know where the majority of largemouth live, and so I always come here and have a real efficient practice and usually have a good tournament. What's different this time than any other time I've ever fished is we have every fish counts over 2 pounds. So finding the most efficient way to hang with the field is going to be what I'm going to try to figure out in practice this week. We're crossing the ferry right now, and I'm trying to see if I can get from the inland sea to Mallett's Bay underneath that bridge with the water being about 2 foot low. So if I can get through there, I can use some of that Mallet Bay stuff and tie those two together. If not, it doesn't make any sense to try to run around and practice, so I won't even look at it. Here we go. We gotta go get back in the truck now. All right, this is Mallett's Bay. Took the ferry and I drove over here to the Vermont side. Walked out to that bridge and looked, and you can see there's a boat out there now trying to use a trolling motor to get across this flat, and someone actually got out of the boat and walked all the way to the bridge and back, and I got to watch him do that, and the water's only about this deep across that whole flat, which is several hundred yards long. You might have an occasional rock in there and stuff, so not looking like it's something I'm gonna try. I had to come check it out though. Just finished up day 1 of practice. The wind blew pretty bad today, bad enough to where you really couldn't fish the good stuff. Got to looking at the forecast, and one day that I'm gonna fish is gonna be really calm, but there's another day where it's supposed to really blow. So I spent today trying to find fish on south protected stuff. The fish I want to catch out in the middle of the lake, that's not going to be possible on day 2. So spent a lot of time riding around in the truck today. Even went all the way down to Ticonderoga just to see if it was worth the crap, because you know you could fish down there with a south wind with no problem, but it really didn't impress me. Crossed the ferry twice today. Went all over. Went from Mysticoy to Ty, crossed the ferry all the way over to South Hero. I mean, that's some traveling. But tomorrow it's going to be calmer. I'll be able to do kind of whatever I want. So hopefully they show me something tomorrow. Today, I spent most of my practice trying to find groups of fish associated with grass lines, and I know they're out there, but they're needle in the haystacks, and I never found them. So I have a bunch of isolated rock piles that I've found over the years coming here, and it finally got calm enough at the end of practice where I was able to go, and I was actually using an AquaView camera. I dropped it down and looked at some of the boulders I have, and there's fish on pretty much every rock pile that I have, but not many. You're definitely not going to win on it. It's going to be too slow. This is all drop shots. I'm trying to keep from re-rigging during the event as much as possible. I'm pretty much going to run around and fish vertical on rock piles the whole time. It's one of my favorite ways to fish. I think it's good enough to make me survive day 1, but day 2, it's going to be challenging. I'm going to fish the old school stuff, isolated rock. Just launched a boat. First morning of the tournament, got a good calm day, so I'll be able to stay on it and get the most out of my areas today. See, go out there and try to catch them. A lot of these fish are roaming right now and following bait. So they're out in the abyss, hundreds of feet of water, just out, not relating to anything, just following bait balls. So it makes them almost impossible to target. 10 scorables yesterday, and probably 8 of them came from just using the active target, looking for fish out roaming open water around shoals or around where these structure areas would be. And every time I'd see the bait, I'd see the smallmouth swimming around, roaming on the bait, All I had to do was get that drop shot close to them. You can watch them swim down and eat it. It's very slow. Still had some quality fish. I had 10 fish that went over 30 pounds. Pretty quality. I had a lot of 3.5 pounders. So I figured my best 5 probably went about 17 pounds. It was calm, so I was able to run around the lake and fish a lot of places. Group B's fishing today and the wind's blowing. It's real hard to move around on this lake when you got 15 miles an hour blowing due south on Lake Champlain. Tomorrow I may cast around a little swim bait on a 3/8 ounce ball head and slow reel that thing. That's one mitigation plan. If it's real windy, I'll toss a tube over the side and drift, just like you would on the Great Lakes on Lake Erie or something like that, and put the drift paddles down. And I'll do that with a tube, or I'll do that with a Carolina rig. I have a 1 ounce Carolina rig rigged up as well with a green pumpkin Missile Baits crawfiler on it, and they love that over here. So prepared to fish Great Lakes style. I'm gonna try to catch them on the drop shot again. That's the best way to get the bite and not lose them when you get the bite. It's very tough. This is the toughest I've ever seen Lake Champlain fish ever. So you don't want to lose any. So that's where we're at right now, re-rigging everything, getting ready for that, and we're prepared for the wind, and we're prepared to do whatever. We'll see what happens.
Well, here's the favorite fishing drone cam on Gerald Sporer. It's the first time we've seen him today. He is in 19th place, 3 ounces below the Toro cut line. Started the day 14th, then moved up to 13th, but during the second period, he fell down below that Toro cut line, and that's where he remains. We move to Sporer, 1 pound, 14 ounces below the Toro cut line.
Coming off a strong top 10 at St. Lawrence.
That looks like a difference maker for Sporer. 1 pound, 14 ounces back. And back in. We'll get a weight on it.
And I went from being just outside the cut to 15th place, and now I'm going to the knockout round. We did it. And it's last place today. I'm just telling you my mindset. Okay. The only way I'm going to get Angler of the Year is to get another top 10. The only way I'm gonna get a top 10 is to not fish the way I've been fishing. So we got to go do something different. Based on the water being low and us being allowed to trailer, I was like, man, what better opportunity to access water that hasn't been touched all week. Launch in the back of all these creeks and stuff like that, where I've caught them before, but I just don't know. I don't know if they're still good, but I was like, man, if we get back there and catch 10 out of this one river, then relaunch the boat and go catch another 10 out of this other river. So that's 20 squirrels. It doesn't take a lot of squirrels to do good. So we got the freedom to move around. Yep. And we got the ability to gamble. We might be in the truck all day. Wrapped up knockout round here on Lake Champlain. Today I went for it. I tried to swing for the fence. So I did some stuff that probably ended up not being a good idea, but and the wind was supposed to blow. It ended up not blowing, and then the areas that I picked to fish didn't pan out. So, you know, fished completely different than I fished all week, and you know, not ashamed of that. And not too often you get to try to do stuff like that and be in a position to do stuff like that. So I still made $10,000 this week and got some great points. Finished the tournament in 32nd place. And so I'm gonna take my money, go to the house, and go to St. Clair, and see if we can swing for the fence there again too, and see if we can get a trophy before the year's over with. Thanks, guys.